Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I know not many of you in right now, but maybe you'll watch it later, who knows. Hope everyone's had a good week out there, out on the grass, doing your window cleaning. I've had a good week. I know we had one day, I think it was Thursday, it rained all day. I got absolutely soaked, but I was in me shorts and me top, and then, yeah, I looked like I had a bucket of water all over me at the end of the day, but once I was wet, it's pointless putting your waterproofs on. And to be honest, it was nice in the rain as well for a bit. But it got me work done anyway. That was the main thing. So, yeah, it's been another good week out on the glass. So this month, I'm a lot more happy, a lot more confident than what I have been all year because of how the poor weather has affected us, and it's affected my income, basically. So I'm a lot happier this month, and I hope I have a couple of more months like this on the bounce, and then I've got some breathing room, and I expect it's the same for everyone, really, isn't it? But, yeah, it's all been good. So I hope it's all been the same for you as well. But just bear with me. Let's go to me comments. Hi, Rabbit Man. Says, good evening. Traditional window cleaning for 32 years. Big respect to you, mate. I've done a bit of traditional cleaning, but I'm nowhere near as good as probably you guys. Definitely not as good as you with all your experience. I'm too slow, probably. And I know in this weather, where it's really hot, you traditional guys have got to move really fast because otherwise the soapy solution starts to dry out on the glass, especially when you're doing internal work as well. That's really hard. So, yeah, it's a skill there. My water-fed pole, pure water window cleaning is definitely a lot easier than traditional, and I'm a lot quicker as well. But, yeah, top respect to you. And with traditional cleaning, I do find it when I'm doing it a bit therapeutic in a way as well, and definitely it's something different to think about as well. But I do love me pure water window cleaning, that's for sure. So thanks for tuning in, mate. I hope everyone else has been having a good week as well. I'm sure you all have, and I'm sure I've said that before. But yeah, going back to these lives as well, as Your Cleaner Window suggested that I invite you as a guest on here as opposed to another like YouTuber. A couple of you are definitely up for that. Just get in touch with me if you are as well, and once a month I'll get one of you on and sort of like, not an interview, but just be an informal chat, I suppose, and we can just get across what we do and how we run things, because we all do things differently, and hopefully we'll all learn from each other that way, and there'll be some good ideas maybe to try out and have a go at, really, see if it works. All help each other out. That's what it's all about, isn't it? To do that, though, because I use this program called Ecamm Live, I've got to up the subscription so that I can basically send out an invite to anyone. You don't have to have Ecamm. And then using the link will basically get you in through the system onto here, and then we'll be able to do the live together. Excuse me. And obviously what we do a bit beforehand is just have a chat before. Just relax into it, I suppose, check everything works, and we'll go for it. So Your Cleaner Windows will be the first person. It was his idea as well, and he's volunteered for it, and he'll be the first guinea pig, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a learning process for me. But something that has happened for me this week is, I don't know if many of you know my setup, but basically I've got a van, obviously, with a pure water window cleaning in it, and it's a 500 litre tank, but it's a two-person setup. But obviously I work with my son and my daughter, so there's three of us in the van. So I've got a 45 litre trolley from X-Line in there as well. So I've got to have 3 poles setups. But also I've got a gardener's backpack, so my wife can sometimes follow along behind me in a car, and I've got another son and another daughter that help out as well. So basically I'm using a lot of univalves. And what we've found is some of the univalves start to get a bit hard to work when you pull on the hose for it to work, which is something my younger son, David, has found this week, because a lot of you probably don't know, some of you will, that something's going on where Sophie has to go and visit her other half. He's in hospital. So the day she's not working with me, my younger son, David, is stepping in because he's doing work experience through sixth form. So he's helping us out that way. So it's quite good because he's ahead of all his exams for his electrical stuff. So rather than him going in hanging about, he's asking to do work experience. So that's been a big help. But I've just looked up. I'll just try and show you where it is. If I can press the right button. These, I looked on eBay. They're the Univalve service kit, but they're unofficial. So it's not obviously the official one from Exceed Innovations, which I have used and has worked. But I found these, and you just see if I can show you. You've got the price here, £14.75p, and that was for two. If you just buy one kit, it's £9.75p. And because I've needed to service two Univalves, I brought two. So it's like an extra £5. But you can see in the pictures, when you buy the one kit, you've just got this tool here, which is what you're going to use to take off the base of the Univalve. And then inside the bag, you've got an O-ring and a spring, and you've got a little packet of some silicone jellies there as well. And then if you buy more kits, basically you have the one tool, which is what I've got, this one, and it's come with two bags. So you've got two individual kits, the gubbins. You can buy more, say with 3 kits, as you probably guessed, you get another extra bag of stuff. But when you start going on the 5 kits, it's like this. That's with no tool. But if you want the tool with it to help as well, it's like this. And you're getting a tube of silicone grease as well. So I think that's good value for money. And this is the one I brought for 2, just to give it a test. And I have gone and changed one of them, which is what I've just done. So it's the one my son David's going to use this week, because Sophie's going to be in hospital visiting most of this week with what's going on at the moment. So yeah, I've used it. That's why this live was a bit late coming on. Tested it, worked so far. So the proof being the pudding tomorrow, and for the rest of the week, see how it holds out. But it's definitely a lot cheaper than buying the official one anyway. So not trying to knock Exceed Innovations at all. I just thought I'd give this a go because things are a bit tight. So I'm going to be a bit tight. But yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. It's on eBay, and you've got it here. Is it Rutech Designs? And that's where I've got it from as well. I've looked on there for other stuff. They do different things as well, but that's what I saw. It caught my eye, and I thought, hey, it's worth a trying it. So I'm glad I've done, because it should make my son's life a lot easier as well. Sorry, just going to catch up now on some of the comments. Rabbit Man says, cheers, mate. I can't afford a van system, but might run a trolley in the car for upstairs windows. Yeah, I've got me 45 litre trolley. There's obviously from X-Line, there's lots of different trolley systems out there, and the gardener's backpack's quite handy, I think. That might be a good start for you, mate. It's cheap and cheerful. The parts do go in them, but at the same time, they're cheap and cheerful to replace. They're easy to swap in and out. And if you're just concentrating on upstairs, I think you're just going to need something small like a gardener's backpack, mate. I'll try and find something to it later on for you. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. It's all right. I'll do it another way. It's yeah. So it's not a bad thing to try as well. And I suppose if you're trying to do upstairs with a water-fed pole, it's a good way to kind of see how it works. And this is what I thought was hard, is when you've seen some people. Like for me, if I was to try, when I was trying to learn traditional window cleaning, I was really nervous to hell because I suppose people expect I wouldn't do that. Not that I've realised I've started with pure water straight away. So when I tried to do in traditional, I was really nervous with it, and it took a lot for me to get the knack. But I was just practicing every evening in my conservatory, inside and outside, and trying different things to kind of see, and using YouTube and that to help. But you can't beat actually doing it. And I suppose, think about it, it's the other way around. If you've been a traditional window cleaner for a long time, which is when I was watching AE Macintosh, Ashley, his YouTube channel, he was swapping from traditional over to water-fed pole. And it's just going to be the same thing as it would be me, say, swapping over to traditional for whatever reason. Your confidence, it's something new, isn't it? And it's, you realise whatever you try to do, it's not as easy as what you think it'll be to start with. Everything's a lot harder, but definitely a lot of respect to you traditional guys, especially in this blazing heat weather as well. But Yeah, it'd be a good idea, I think. Test the water, get yourself a gardener's backpack or borrow one off a mate if you've got anyone nearby, and perhaps use his pure water rather than doing the initial outlay, because you've got all that as well. Okay, just going to your cleaner windows. I've been looking at these service kits. Any good? Yes, mate, they are. Like I say, I've only just done it literally just before I went onto the live, and I just saw it on eBay last week. It took quite a few days to come through the post, but it was worth the wait. You've got the tool there, which is handy. I've got it here. Wait, I nearly dropped it. So you've got this, and then basically that goes over the univalve to squeeze, so you can get the bottom bit out. But I must admit, you have to squeeze really hard. I was pressing this down while this side here was laying flat on a solid surface, and I used a pair of pliers just to twist and turn the bottom of the univalve to remove it, and then it come off quite easy. And then you've also get your little bag like here, and you can see, I don't know, because of my camera and the lighting, you've got your little O-ring. It's got the replacement spring, and there's a little bag of silicone gel in there as well. For the price, it's a lot cheaper than buying the official one, that's for sure. And I've swapped it round, greased it up, put it back together, no problem, because I've known how to strip it down, because I've done it with the official one anyway. And I give it a test, and it's working. So we will see in time how long it lasts, I suppose. But yeah, no, it's good, mate. Question: an internal rinse bar on the X-Line brush. A couple of the jets on mine aren't as powerful as the others on the rinse bar. I've took it apart and cleaned it, but it's still the same. Right, it does happen to me. You can get them blocked in there. So I reckon there might be a small blockage somewhere, or one of the holes is partially blocked, but you have stripped it apart and tried to clean it. That's what I have to do, is I strip it down, take the whole rinse bar out of the brush, mate, and then it's in the van, so I can't show you. But you know them pipe cleaners you used to have when you was at school at a young age and you're doing all crafts and stuff like that? I've got some of them, and I use that to kind of rod up and down inside the actual rinse bar itself and twist and turn at the same time. Do that a few times, and then you have to put it back together. It's a bit of a ball ache. Test it. If it's still not, you keep repeating the process basically until it's all clear. So that's what I do with the rinse bars, mate. And sometimes I'll have a couple of spares. So sometimes I'll just take one out, put the spare in, and then I'll clean the original one later, and then I can swap them around that way. Because we're all a bit tight, I suppose, and I won't just throw something out, because I think they're £9 or something like that on their own without looking. I'll have to try and get something up on here, because here we go. Right. Excuse me, URLs. Sorry, I'm just having to open up a handy little folder so I can get the websites open in a jiffy. Yeah, I'll have a look at those. I'm swear they're about £9, but yeah, use a pipe cleaner, mate. And that's how I do it. So your clean wins, just giving another shout to Rabbit Man. I started my whole business with a backpack in my car. So there you go. And there's been times, mate, as well, where I had problems in my first year with my engine on my car. You probably see it on my channel. I've done a video about it, like My Tough Times, I think it was called. And basically I had to get the engine rebuilt, and then I couldn't have my van for a month. So I just used a gardener's backpack and some barrels of water working from the car, and that's how I got around it. Luckily, I wasn't as busy as what I am now, so I managed to get through my work, but it got me through that month, and I was surprised how many people would still come out to me working from a car with a gardener's backpack and barrels of water. So I was amazed I was still picking up business as well. So yeah, gardener's backpacks, I think they're brilliant. And I love my 45 litre trolley from X-Line. You've got nano trolleys, all different things out there, but I'd definitely say it's worth having a gardener's backpack. It's dead handy. It's handy for the small jobs where you just got to walk through someone's garage. You can't drag a trolley through. It's just easier to pick that little thing up. It's really good. Okay, Rabbit Man's just replying back saying, cleaner windows, I'd give backpack a go. As 54 years old, certainly ladders taken toll on my body. Yeah, I'm 48, mate. Keeps you fit though, doesn't it, going up and down ladders? But they are heavy, and with ladders, you never just take them off the van, dear, and just be able to walk. Sometimes you have to hold them horizontal to go underneath archways, washing lines, and then you're twisting and turning and got to stand the thing up again. So it is hard work. But yeah, mate, gardener's backpack, you can't go wrong. I'll try and find, you probably know about them anyway. They're on the gardener's website. So I've just gone on there now for you. I haven't signed in anyway. So yeah, under all products, backpack and indoor. There's your gardener's backpack. Here it is. They're on version 3. It's £122 plus 20% VAT. They're currently out of stock. I'm sure you can click something in here with gardeners where they'll email you when they're in stock as well. And you probably might be able to pick them up secondhand. I've actually got 3 of these because I've had problems. So I've just bought another one. And there was a time where it had been handy for me to have 2. So because I've got 4 children altogether, plus my wife, so all 6 of us could work. So it just made life a bit easier. And then I was repairing one, which I've got repaired now. Again, all the parts, they're cheap. And you can get all the parts from gardeners themselves. So if you go under spares, mate, look, they're all here. You've got expensive bit batteries. The pump's £22. You can go to DA Components and you can get chemical ones as well. But all the bits on it are replaceable. And yeah, they're a bit cheap, so they don't last forever, but they're easy to replace and they're not expensive. And it'll just keep going as long as you look after it. Always have some of these handy spares in the garage because they're cheap, like the switches. You'll learn what goes most. For example, the switch here, it's £1.95p. They're just handy to have. They will go. But yeah, gardener's backpack, mate, is really, really, really good. Hi, Ched, mate. Thanks for coming in. Don't worry about that. You'll probably catch up anyway. It's in case you're just joining me, I was talking about the Univalve. It's an unofficial kit from on eBay. I've used that to repair one of my Univalves just before this live, and it's so far it's obviously doing what it should do. We'll just see in time as my son uses it. Sorry, I'm just pressing the wrong button. Okay, Rabbit Man, I'm just keeping up with the comments. Poles are very expensive for a lightweight one. Yeah, when I was using the gardener's backpack for a month, lifting up 25-litre barrels, that's 25 kilograms, and lifting it and putting it into the gardener's backpack and then lifting that about, which will weigh 22 kilograms plus the actual backpack itself, so it's probably about the same. It's hard work. It made my shoulders ache. And the only thing I could make at the time, because I had a really horrible budget pole, it was a hybrid pole from X-Line. And then I thought the only thing that can make anything lighter, because I can't make water lighter, was a nice pole. So I got my credit card and got myself a high mod pole. And I've used it ever since. My son's got one because he's got scoliosis on the spine and slight muscular dystrophy. So I wanted him to have the best pole I could give him as well. It's definitely worth their weight in gold, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, it's your budget's going to drive what you can get. So just work within your budget. But if you're just starting, I'd probably use even a hybrid pole and probably look for a second-hand one if you can. And then I'll just use that, especially if it's just going to be for the odd few windows. You are going to probably find though some of the upstairs windows are really difficult to reach, as in the pole's going to be at a funny angle, and that's where you wish you had a lighter pole and something that's a bit more rigid. If you're looking at a Macintosh Rabbit Man, mate, you don't have to fully extend the sections on your pole, so you could probably just put them halfway and that'll make the pole more rigid, as long as you've got the reach, that is. And your ladders, unfortunately, are still coming out for. I still use my ladders, even with the water-fed pole, where I'll have to use a ladder, say, against an extension, climb up the ladder, from the ladder, use the pole to reach the window. Sorry, Chad, just seen your comment, mate. Better springs on kit. I'm not sure if they're better springs springs, they were silver in colour, and the ones that come with the Univalve service kit through Exceed Innovations, they were coloured black. And I think DA Components has got a little service kit as well, I'm sure. He'll have it on his website. Okay, hose reel definitely helped me out with shifting the weight about. I do want a high mod pole as well, but need to save up first. They are definitely worth it, high mod poles, but what I think everyone has to realise is it's all comes pros and cons. So the pros that it's lighter, but I'd say the cons is the material's that little bit more delicate, a bit more thinner, and it's going to wear faster. And because they're more expensive to replace a pole section, say, compared to a carbon fibre one, or even a hybrid one, which will obviously be even cheaper. But I wouldn't go back. I'd still use my high mod 100%. It's great. Obviously mine's an X-line pole, but what I've got is the Phantom clamps. I've put them on, swapped the clamps around, and I get a lot more use out of a section on my pole, because even though they're worn, it still grips them really, really well. And so I get a lot more mileage out of it, basically. Going back to the springs, Ched says, I think they're stainless from, I can't even pronounce that, on Window Cleaning Forum. There's a, right, okay. Have you got a link to it at all, Ched, and put it on here for everyone else? That sounds really helpful. Because I'm pretty sure you could buy these parts yourselves rather than buying these kits. Rabbit Man, everyone's just asking, do Unger do a lightweight pole? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I just see the ones on Ashley from AE Macintosh, because he likes using some of the Unger kit. And so does Tradman as well. He uses the poles, but I like my poles from X-Line, so I stick with them. Because I bought all my kit from X-Line when I started, so I stick with them as a supplier. But obviously you've got Gardeners as well. They definitely do poles. And I know when I was starting out, everyone was using garden poles. It just can be confusing on there because they got so many different types and systems. But if you look around on their website, it explains it all anyway. And you'll probably take bits from there, which could, even if you went for an Unger pole, you'll understand a bit more about hybrid carbon fibre and high mod poles and so on. But I think Gardeners do a good range. SLX is like a really good bog standard one. And then you got the Elite pole, which is the equivalent of what I use with X-Line. But I'd say whatever pole you get, just learn how to maintain them as well. It'll make them last longer. And when you're doing your maintenance, it's a good time. It's what I say to my son. We cleaned up poles as well before the live. When you strip them down to clean them, it's worth when going over to check it, isn't it? Looking for anything that's possibly looking worn or on its way out, so you can pre-order it. So it's already there in your garage, ready to go. It's normally things like the clamps and that. It's always worth going over. And I think it was, I can't remember who it was on here, but suggesting it, and I've used it, and it's great stuff. It's for users of lubrication. It's that Pole Care. I'm sure there's a name of it. And then that's what I use as a lubricant. I think fishermen use it for their carbon fibre poles, obviously for fishing. And I've used it. It gets me through the week. No problems at all. And it's very cost effective as well. So it's great stuff. And sorry, Rabbit Man saying thanks everyone for the advice. Really appreciate it. No worries. That's what I try and hope this channel's all going to be about. And like I say, inviting you guys on as guests rather than another YouTuber. I'm not saying I won't get someone on like that. But yeah, I think it's you guys, isn't it? No worries, mate. It's got to go, but watch the rest later. Have a good week, everyone. You too, mate. Hope you have a good week. I've seen some of your videos on social media, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, I've liked them. But yeah, just pass the advice and share the knowledge, innit? That's what it's all about. But yeah, must be hard if you're going from, like this Rabbit Man saying, 32 years traditional and starting to think about having to go using this pure water system. for the upstairs windows, and it's because of the ladders, and I'm getting older myself. But I must admit, my shoulders kill me. Obviously, I'll do some tough windows sometimes, but if you don't clean it, you don't get paid, do you? But I think whatever you do, but definitely I like my water-fed pole. I like traditional, but I'm not nowhere near the standard of someone who's done it for 32 years, that's for sure. But you've got not a lot of knowledge there to bring it across with your pure water stuff when you do get to that, mate. I mean, there's still stuff. I mean, a brush isn't going to get everything off the glass. So you still use like steel wool, or now your walnut pad holders. You've got your scrapers. So all that kit will still come in handy. And even if you did, I don't know if you've done some of your top windows on a pole, but you could put your scraper on there as well, or your walnut pad holder. So all that stuff is still worth keeping hold of for sure. And then you can offer insides, can't you? But yeah, going for this pure water stuff, it can be expensive. Let's find another website for you, mate. Window Cleaning Warehouse. I'll just go on here for you. This is another good website to go to, mate. You've probably been here anyway for getting some of your stuff for your traditional window cleaning, but they've got this bit here on the right where it says info. Here we go. Sorry, I was just looking, and then you've got lots of stuff somewhere. I can't find it. This is a good thing about being live, eh? Product guides, understanding pure water cleaning, starting a window cleaning business. That obviously won't apply to you, but if you go for, say, understanding pure water cleaning, you can see here you've got lots of different articles here that will explain about obviously making pure water itself and probably the different ways to go, as well as, like it says, a van mounting in your system, a static purification system, which is what I've got. All these different things on here. So there's lots of good gen on these websites, be it here or Xline itself. They've got one as well. I'll just go across. Here we go. Yeah, look, your water cleaning biome system guide. It's under more info. And gardeners are really good for it as well. I used to read a lot of their stuff. Where can I see it on gardeners? Here we are at the bottom here, WFP info. And then they've got lots of articles on here. So all these websites, gardeners, window cleaning warehouse, Xline, and I'm sure there's others out there. They're definitely all worth looking at and reading up on. And even when you're someone like me who thinks you know quite a bit about it, it's good to return to some of these, make stuff more relevant, I suppose, or some of the stuff you've glossed over, read it again. Then with what you already know, it comes up, and you're then just able to explain things to your customers, aren't you? Because you do get chitty chatty and just get quite deep into some of how things work, I suppose, because people are generally just interested in how it all works. So Rabbit Man says he just found out you're diabetic, got nerve damage in feet, so got to move with the times. My dad's type 1 diabetic. He's had that for 52 years, I think it is. And he's 74 now. And I think he's starting to get nerve problems as well. But he's done well. It's not easy being diabetic neither. And I suppose if you're new to it, it's a hell of a lot to get your head round, isn't it? My dog was diabetic. He's passed away now, but for 3 years. And that's what I said to my dad. I weigh his food out. I monitor it. I give him the exact same insulin. Yet his blood levels can vary and change despite everything's being exactly the same. So it's little things like the weather all comes into it as well. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, mate. And I can see why you're thinking of trying to make life easier and perhaps look into how pure water window cleaning is going to help you out. And I suppose you've been window cleaning for 32 years. It's got you this far, hasn't it? And I've only been doing it 6 years, so it just shows to a lot of us here, especially if anyone's thinking of starting. I mean, I picked up a customer once and he'd done window cleaning alongside his job, and he just said, and his first words to me was, "You've got a job for life." So yeah, I'd see, mate, if you can borrow some kit off a mate. I mean, a lot of the window cleaners, when they're near me, I always wave and say hello to, and they've always waved and said hello back. So, you know, the odd occasion where you're not too busy and you can go over and have a chin wag, you'd probably be surprised when you get talking, or find out their email and ping them an email, mate. But if you could borrow some kit, speak to them or help them out for an afternoon, something like that. It's just hard, isn't it, to go from one thing to another, because you worry about your standards, you worry about losing your customers, that sort of thing. The great thing is customer upstairs frames and windows will be clean, so the pole should work well. Yeah, because you've been cleaning them, so they're clean to start with, so it will be a maintenance clean, mate. It's just trying to get your confidence in a new piece of kit, isn't it? Whether you're going from water-fed pole to traditional to water-fed pole, it's trying to learn something that's kind of new again, isn't it? Especially when you've done something for that sort of length of time and it's got you by no problem. But I understand now, yeah, with what you're saying, with what you got going on. But yeah, see these websites, mate. Look up videos, look as much as you can on YouTube, and just speak to other window cleaners out there. It can be a lonely job, isn't it? So if another guy comes up window cleaning, speaking to you, you're only too happy to show and say, have a go. So that's what I would do, mate. But yeah, you got DA components. That's worth a good look around as well. But it's all out there, isn't it, mate? And it's trying to do it as well without spending too much money. So like you say, you're going to start on a budget, start with small stuff. I don't know if there's a Spotless Water nearby, near you. The nearest one to me is like over half an hour away to drive there and come back, but it's there if I need it. That's where you can get your pure water from as well. Because one of my customers, a photographer, and he's telling me he uses Spotless Water because he needs that for when he's developing his film. So they use pure water for that as well. So that's something else I'd learned. Every day's a school day, innit? Okay, has anyone got any other questions or anything they want to mention on here? Especially it could be a help to Rabbit Man himself. Sorry, I was just trying to look up. Sorry, this has just come up. It says health straight away. Just thinking, says, I was on their article, 3 reasons why you should use water-fed pole. So it says safety. So I guess it's saying you can work from the ground rather than like on a ladder. But as long as you use ladder safety wisely, you should be okay. But the more time you're on it, the more chances you're going to come off it, I suppose. And it says your health. So I suppose it's using the lightest, strongest equipment to make job easier. Obviously, as we get a bit older, the strains take their toll, don't they? But like we said, everything's going to come down to budget at the end of the day. But you can start somewhere, can't you? And it gets you by, and then you can build up over time. And if you rush into things too fast, it ends up being costly, doesn't it? As opposed to taking your time, because you're going to stop yourself spending money on something you didn't really need, for example, something like that. So, yeah, can be expensive. Ooh. Spotless Water, about 30 minutes away. Okay, so it's about 30 minutes away from you. Yeah, it is good, mate. It's, let's see if I can find something for you, mate. The thing is with Spotless Water, they'll always be on something that's got 24-hour access. For the one I go to, it's like within school grounds. So you've got access to it 24/7. And I must admit, when I've gone to use them and then I've had a problem, I just dialed the phone number and I thought, yeah, but they got answered straight away and there's someone there to help me. So I think you'll find the customer support side of things is going to be really good as well. I've just found their website, mate. You're probably worth having a look on there. But yeah, like you see, self-service, just think of it as like half a container, and inside there's going to be all the pure water machine. It makes that. There's like a nozzle, as if you're filling up your van with fuel. And then you've got your keypad, the screen. It's contactless as well. You can get a key fob, so you can just swipe that, and you've got credit on there. You can put credit on it yourself, and it all comes off that. And yes, it is pure water, so it's dead easy to use, and you just pay per litre. Last time I looked, I think it was 4.5 pence per litre, but if you're a trade customer, it's like 3.5 pence per litre. And as I don't rely on it because I make my own at home, but here you are. It says convenient 24/7 self-service stations, priced, and they've got regulations they have to go by. Here, so that's the picture, obviously next to van. This is what you're looking at. It's small square, like I say, like it's less than half a container. And then you got your nozzle, and then you got a computer screen, just like your ATM machines. And away you go. And it's, yeah, can't fault it really. I'd say if for yourself, mate, you just need them barrels of water, don't you? Let's see if we can find them. Suppose go window cleaning where else? If I can find the link. So I've got the Window Clean Centre. I don't know if you use these, mate. That's where I've got me traditional stuff from them. They're based in Ipswich. Jesus, I can't find what I'm after now, can I? Why does it always do this to me? Here we go. Got the link now. It'll open up. Right, barrels. Probably spelt it wrong. Nope, 25 litre. Maybe they don't sell them. Okay, there's a little trolley here as well, but you can see what I mean about price. They're good, 745 quid, or you can get the Gardener's one for 122. But either way, this barrel on top is what you'll need, and you can use them and just put your pure water, fill them up, and then obviously lift them up into your car with your Gardener's backpack, and away you go. Obviously, you need the pole in that lot. But what I'd say to you, mate, is when I had my big problems, because I think they're like £8-9 each a barrel, I went to car washing places near me and just asked, have they got some old 25 litre barrels? And basically stuff that TFRs come in and polish and whatever else they use. So I took them home, just re-swilled them out quite a lot, obviously to get rid of all the soap. And they sold them to me £1 each because I needed 20. And I've still got them. I brought newer ones as well, but I've still got those ones I brought 20 from originally. So you can get hold of these barrels quite cheap. I'd probably grab them from the car wash places near you, mate. Just ask. And like I said, they just said £1 each. I was like well surprised. So got me out of a hole. Okay, my dad has a big car trailer, thinking about an IBC tank. Yeah, with IBC tanks, they're different sizes. I've got an IBC tank which I use as a holding tank. So what I mean by that, mate, is I've got a shed. In there I've got my static reverse osmosis system and DI, and it's putting the pure water into a 1,000 litre IBC tank. And then I've got a submersible pump, so like from Screwfix, and I use that to transfer the water from there into the tank in my van. So that's like 240 litres per minute. So it's really easy to use. And the reason why I've done it that way is because obviously I rely on pure water for everything I do. While I'm out working, my system back home is filling up that holding tank with water. Whereas if that system was on the tank in my van, when it's making the water, I can't drive off anywhere, and it could take up to maybe 8 hours to fill that up. It depends on a few factors. So that's why I had a static system filling up a holding tank while I'm out working. So if I needed to, when I come back, I can just refill my tank and then drive straight out and it's filling up while I'm working. But you won't need that. But you can get 600 litre IBC tanks, I believe. I'm not sure if you can get smaller ones, but you've got to think the weight on the trailer and having it strapped down safely, I suppose. If you're thinking of putting a trailer on the back of your car and your car's got to drive that, and then you've got to reverse, haven't you? Some of the places I go, I'd find it hard with a trailer, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to get in it. But trying to get on driveways as well, it can be quite narrow and other cars parked there. So I'd probably look at getting a van, mate, with a tank in the van and use an IBC tank as a holding tank if you've got a static system producing your own water. But that's obviously all in time, isn't it? For what you want to do, it's going to be a pain driving 30 minutes to Spotless Water to fill up water and 30 minutes to get home, when all you want to do is have a handful of barrels in the car with something like a gardener's backpack just to do a few top windows of a house. Yeah, it's all food for thought though, mate. There's probably lots of different options you could go out there, but yeah, you'd need a van, I suppose. But if you're doing it all from a car, it's just small steps, isn't it? And I would start small, test stuff, see how you get on first. It's hard with water because I probably use a lot more water than someone else cleaning windows because I'm a bit finicky. I like to be able to walk away from the job and just forget it. I know it's done. And there's probably people out there that clean that window with less water than me. But it also depends on how dirty the window is. The more dirtier the window is, the more water you're going to use. Different times of year, like summer now, you're going to start getting problems with pollen on the glass. And it's going to take more effort to get it off, so you're going to use more water compared to like in the winter where I use a lot less water because of after when it gets to a certain point in winter, that is, because all the rain and everything is pre-washing it, so it's really clean before I start it. So it's little things like that you will work and find out yourself, mate. But I wouldn't get an IBC tank put in a trailer. But that's just me, not that I've done it. Okay, you use Soap National. You're from Suffolk. I'm from Suffolk, mate. I was born in Ipswich and brought up in Felixstowe. And I live 2 hours away in Wisbech. So up Ipswich Town, Premier League, here we come. I just hope we stay up. So yeah, don't get too excited. But yeah, that was a really good season. I've been following them. So I hope you're an Ipswich supporter, mate. Probably a rugby fan. Ched's right. He's saying tried to drive and park with a huge trailer might be a right pain. That's what I was thinking. Okay, store your tank at your dad's as a holding tank. Yeah, I'd use an IBC tank, mate. But before you do that, there's IBC tanks. You could probably pick them up cheap as well. I'm sure I paid 50 quid for mine. I didn't get it off eBay. I drove somewhere and got it. No, I did. I got it delivered, sorry. But you want one do your research. I'm sure it's got to be food grade because it's easy to clean that out as opposed to like a certain type of chemical, I suppose. So you want something in there that's easy to clean out so it's clean to start with. And you can pick them up for, like I said, 40, 50 quid rather than spending a few hundred quid on a brand new one. So here we go. Ted's just saying you can get a small RO unit for about 150 quid, but it'll take about 30 to 60 minutes for each year, 25 barrels. So yeah, it's like for me, I've got one from X-Line because I'm getting through between 700 and 1,000 litres of water a day. It's not always 1,000, but it's definitely around the 700 mark. And sometimes it can go a bit over. It depends what I'm doing. But sorry, I'm just trying to find my kit on X-Line for you. Filtration. So I was trying to remember these different websites and the different tabs you look underneath. Right, here it is. Filter systems. I'm not saying get this one, mate. Here we go. So here's an example. Obviously, you've got your DI resins, but for your reverse osmosis, you've got these little systems. So it says 200 gallons per day. So that'll produce 200 gallons of water in a day. What you'll see with these ones here that I'm trying to circle is, in fact, I'll just click on it. If you're into marine fish or certain types of tropical fish where you need soft water, you use RO water, or you buy this system and it basically makes your own pure water, but it obviously produces a certain amount. But if you're using more than that in a day, then this system's not going to be good enough. And then basically you need to upgrade to one that does it a lot faster. I'm trying to see where mine is. Here it is. It's not the exact system, but it's similar. But you'll get the idea. No, it's not that one. It's basically like this. It's a bigger membrane, and you can see rather than 200 gallons per day, it's producing 2,000 gallons per day. So it depends how much water you're going to use in a day on what system you need, and obviously it's down to budget as well. So, but this is the one I've got, and it holds me good. And also you need other stuff as well. You can read up on it on these websites, mate. If your water pressure, say, is below 50 psi for your household, you'll need a booster pump because the water's got to go through the membrane at a certain pressure for it to be effective. If it's too low, basically it's not going to do a good enough job, and it shortens the life of your membrane. So yeah, you'll probably need a booster pump as well. But I've got all mine all static, mate, and it's producing a lot of water really fast into my IBC tank. But like I said, you don't have to spend a system like that when you're just doing, say, the top windows. Going back to the smaller ones, wherever they were, sorry, it's under here, like similar to people who do fish keeping, where it's 200 gallons, or you got one here, look, 300 gallons per day. That's £220, and you've got smaller membranes sizes to use, so they're going to be cheaper to run as well. So it's just something to think about, mate. You know what I mean? And your IBC tank can still be the same size, but it just depends on how much water you're going to use per day, and how much you need. So do you want a small unit or big unit? But if you're just using top ones, maybe something like that would be ideal, wouldn't it? And like I say, put it into one big holding tank, then you can use a submersible pump from like Screwfix or Wix, something like that. And then you've got the hose and then like a nozzle from the filling up your van with fuel, that sort of thing on the end. And you can use that to fill up your 25 litre barrels. Comments, sorry, I'm losing the plot here. I don't know what that means. Certainly am. Sorry, I've forgotten what it's down to. Oh, I'm probably a bit behind here. What size tank should be suitable if you get a small van? All right, with that one, mate, it depends on the van's payload. So look up the van's payload, and then you know that's how much weight it can carry. But you've got to remember, it's not just the water. So as you know, probably 1 litre water is 1 kilogram. So if you've got a 350 litre tank, that's 350 kilograms. But then there's the weight of you, the weight of the fuel, then the weight of all your kit goes in on top of that. So yeah, I'd look at the payload first. And that dictates what size tank you're going to carry, really. Or you do it the other way around and just look at what size tank you think you need, then you know what size van you're going to get. But yeah, I think most people, if you're on your own, will have a 350 litre tank. I've got a 500 litre tank. There's 2 of us working, and we refill it up and go back out as well. Sorry, Nellie's just asking me a question. What size tank do you have? I think I've just answered that, but my van is a short wheelbase. It's a Nissan Prima Star, if that's how you say it. And I've got a 500 litre tank in there. I did ideally want a 750 one, but X-Line told me to go for 500. I'm glad I did, because I've got room behind the tank to enable me to put my generator in the back and my gutter vacuum and all the kit. If I had a bigger tank, like a 750 litre one, I wouldn't have had that room. So yeah, I've got a 500 litre tank, mate. Oh, you've got a short pace Vivario. All right, and you want for your Skyvac. I can fit my Skyvac and generator into my van, which is a short wheelbase, but X-Line put my tank closer towards the back doors of the van. And I've got electric reels as well, as opposed to the tank being against the bulkhead, and everything's fitted in just about in my van. So it could be a case of maybe measuring things up and seeing if the tank needs to be moved. But I see what you're saying about a long wheel base one, because you'll have that little bit much more room. I'll be careful, as the 200 GPB is usually US gallons per day. So it's not going to be English gallons, so it's less water. Okay, Rabbitman saying he's filling barrels. He has a water pump already, so that's a submersible pump. Hey, good man, Ipswich Town, yep. We're everywhere. Just take it you've seen, sorry, Norwich fans, the on Facebook, where it's got the Norwich Premier League and bus, and it says for sale. Ched saying he has a 400 litre tank in a 2019 Peugeot Partner, which is a 1,050 kilogram payload. Never use ratchet straps, bolt through, okay, with spreader plates. Yeah, my tank's bolted through. It's all done by X-Line, installed by them. But if you've got a mate in a garage, they'll probably be able to do that for you as well. Hi, Robert. No worries, mate. Catching up fast. Incidentally, anyone else on here in Ipswich Town, man, as well, like me and Rabbit Man here? Any Norwich fans? Yeah, 4-0. Be interesting to see when it out of Leeds and Southampton. Especially all the stuff some of the Leeds fans are giving us, Ipswich Town fans and stuff. But I kind of hope it's Southampton, just because they've got the late spurt on near the end, which I think surprised a lot of people. So hopefully they're more on form. But it's the playoffs is a lottery, innit? Yeah, so going back to your tank sizes, it depends on the payload of your van, doesn't it? But just remember, it's the weight as well of all your fuel, the weight of you, and all the other kit and ladders you're going to have strapped in there as well. There's always stuff you're going to add in there that you never think of. Yeah, Southampton. I've always liked Southampton anyway, because when I was a kid, Matt Letizia is a wizard, wasn't he? And yeah, always think of him. But Southampton did put a spurt on, didn't they? And I think got everyone worried. I didn't think Ipswich was going to do it, especially when everyone was messing around us, messing up. And we couldn't win neither. All down to the last wire, but that's Ipswich for you, I suppose. Glad we've done it. Definitely glad. Tanks. There's something I was just thinking of. Sorry, I'll come to you. See if I can find it. It's, where can I find the tanks? Fan mounted systems. Let's try that. Right, I've got this one here. It's an X tank. You can do lay flat ones. I'd probably advise not to get them. You want something that stands upright, I think, because there's more water pressure. It's easier for the water to come out than a lay flat one. But they have got this one, which could be handy for you, mate. It's a 350 litre compact system. So as you can see, it's got the tank, got a reel on top, and you've got the controls at the front as well. And then obviously, you're probably aware you can just have the tank only, so it's a delivery unit. And then you can have the delivery unit, but with a DI vessel on that. So it's DI, or you can have RO and DI on the tank system as well. For me, I've just got a delivery tank because my RO and DI is a static system in the shed, if that makes sense. And you can see they've got a startup one here. I'm not trying to flog stuff to you from X-Line, by the way, but it's a 350 litre compact with a 500 gallon per day, probably US gallons, starter system there. Package is 1,749. That's probably going to be VAT still to be added on top of that. Sorry, tractor going by. But you're probably seeing a picture here. They've got the lay flat tank with a reel. You've got your RODI system, and it's coming with a pole and a brush. The Evolution Pro Plus, I can't remember if that's Pro Plus is, yeah, it's carbon composite, so it's a hybrid pole, but it'll get you started. But you could just, whatever you do, system, I'd probably say give them a ring, because they'll talk to you and try and attain what you want and how they can tailor a package to meet your needs. But I think with this one, it's something you can put in a van. That's what caught my eye. And then you can take out of the van, so you've just got a plain van. And then you can put other stuff in there, if you get what I mean. But the problem is as well, it's not going to be safely secured down to the floor like when it's bolted through. But they can do the X tank, like mine's a 500 litre. I think the smallest one they do is 500 litre as well. 350. Pretty sure. I used to have X tank systems. Here we go, sorry. Yeah, so you got a 350 litre tank here, 1,644. That'd be a delivery one, I suppose. And then it goes up in prices, one man setup and so on. And that's through them. Obviously, there's other companies out there, and you can probably go, is it Tanks Direct, something like that? This is where I get a main battle tank. So they've got IBC tanks there as well, but they'll have window cleaning water tanks as well. Here we go, try water tanks. Got baffled tanks, that's what we want to go for. Here we go, upright. You don't want these lay flat ones. I'd definitely say get an upright one. Yeah, you can go as small as 190 litres there, £128. What have I pressed here? Tap kit offer when you purchase with the tanks. Obviously, you'll buy the fittings you probably need. I wouldn't know all that because I've never done a DIY system, but I'd speak around, mate. You could probably think of perhaps something like this, couldn't you? While you're doing just tops only and you're working from the van rather than lifting barrels of water out, because you've got to lift barrels of water up to empty it into a, say, gardener's backpack, then you're lifting and carrying that round with you. Whereas something like this and a reel, you could just open your van doors and out you go. It's definitely the way to go. But a gardener's backpack is definitely still a handy thing to have, and I still use mine. So there's an idea there, mate, to look round and at least cost things up. And you then just need your pump, your controller, and so on, and things like that. Sorry, Robert's just saying blue glass extension came up. Ah, right, yeah. The blue glass extension come up a treat using washing up liquid on my pole system, but dousing plenty of water on it. Thanks for the tip. There, no worries, mate. That's where's the tinted glass, wasn't it? I think on the conservatory roof. Glad you found a way. And that's what I find sometimes using chemicals, full stop anyway. I used to use, I forgot what it's called now. Complete brain fart. I'll have a sip of my beer first and then it'll come back. Told you it would. TFR, traffic film remover. And I used to use that for my fascia softs and gutters. But the process of lifting up a pole to spray it on there from a gardener's backpack, putting it back down on the ground, lifting up my water fed pole to then brush it on, let it dwell, and then use my pole to swill it off. I just found it was just the same as just using my pole straight off with water, pre-soaking it, moving on to another bit, pre-soaking that, then going back and just using elbow grease. It was just the same time as using chemicals, but it's costing me money using chemicals where it wasn't just using water. And I do use pure water, by the way, for me fascia softs and gutters, only for the pure reason is my son can do one side of the house, I can do the other, as opposed to we trying to use the trolley with the customer's tap water and we keep going back round to refill it up. It's just taking us too much time. We just find it easier. You do that side of the house, I do this side. Once we've done the fascia soffits and gutters, we can then both do the windows. Yes, I'm using pure water, but if I'm living near home and I've got my holding tank full of it, it's easy just for me to go out, refill and get straight back out there. So that's how I kind of do it. And that's what I found doing there. It's just a pre-soak, and elbow grease gets most things off. You don't have to always rely on chemicals, which is costing you more money at the end of the day. And it's just the same time, because you've got to apply it, let it dwell, and you might as well just scrub away. But then again, when your shoulders are aching, you probably wish you had the chemicals. I'm glad it worked, mate. I'm glad you got an end result. That tank would be ideal. Thanks, must remember to write upright tank. Yeah, use your upright tank, mate. So I'll just get it back up. Hopefully it's this one. Yeah, Tanks Direct. Just have a look round, mate. They'll have their dimensions and sizes. And the reason why you want an upright tank rather than one that lays flat is because even in my tank, as the water gets lower and lower, you'll notice the water coming out of your hose. I can tell because it starts to slow down. It's weird how you just notice these things. And I'll say to my son, I think we're getting low on water, and we'll have a look. And lo and behold, we are. And if you've got the low flat tanks, it's already low to start with. So you'll get that problem quicker than if it was an upright tank, because there's just more pressure, just easier. And also, I think what you'll get with these upright tanks is you've got more footprint in the back of your van to put other bits of equipment. I know people have the lay flat tank and then put stuff on top, but I think it's easier to have something like this. And then you've got more room, like I said, for all the other stuff, because you'll probably end up getting yourself a gutter vac to do all the gutters, because then you're not relying on your ladder to get up and down on that. Sorry, my TV just went a bit funny there. Thought everything was going to crash. So you'll probably end up getting yourself a small gutter vac, to be honest, to look at maybe gutter clearing. But you'll still use your ladders, I do, because there's still some bits that defeat my Skyvac vacuum system and generator. And sometimes it's easier to go and grab something out by hand. So your ladders are still come in handy as well. But at least with an upright tank, you can get all the other bits and pieces in there should you go down that route as well, mate. It's, yeah, just do your homework, buddy. Someone else I think that is probably worth a look for you. Not that I know him or anything like that, but it's definitely something, is Blade Right. I know he goes to some of the shows. I see on his Facebook, he works damn hard. And a lot of people go to him and get all right, okay, fan mounted systems. Basically, he can install systems on there for you. So you've got one like this, mate. And he's got, like, say, 250 litre systems and so on. And he'll put it all in there, get it all installed. And you've got everything you need on there and it's good to go. So it could be worth speaking to him. It depends how far away he is from you, I suppose. I don't know how far he is. And then basically get stuff priced up. So I'd probably look at your budget, mate, and get a little bit clued up on a few things, read up on it, and just speak to some suppliers and phone round and just see which ones you like. I went with X-Line because they basically didn't try to sell me anything when I first started, because I was in the military coming out, and I just rang during one of my breaks and said, look, I'm not going to buy anything off you. I'm after some advice. I'm trying to write up a business plan and I know nothing about this window cleaning. What do I need to know? Just help point me in the right direction. Don't mind researching. And just because how they spoke to me, I ended up just sticking with them. Sorry, I pressed the wrong comment there. Price and jobs would have to be adjusting using Waterford Pole, should imagine. I'm probably the last person to talk about pricing, because I undercut myself. I did £1 a window to start with, just because it's easier for me to count. And I had no idea how long it was going to take me to clean a window. And silly me was also trying to think the way customers would think. It's all right having fancy kit, but if it means the job's going to get done faster, surely that means I must be cheaper because I can do more in a day. So don't definitely underprice myself. And I think what some people do is charge more for traditional than they do water-fed pole, because purely it's taking more time because the water-fed pole is quicker. But at the end of the day, if you are happy with a job for a certain amount of money, your customer's happy to pay for that, then everyone's happy, aren't they? Shouldn't matter about anyone else. And sometimes it's not the kit, is it, that makes the job quicker? You've had to shell out a lot of money for that kit to do that job quicker, so why should it cost less? Probably just got to found everyone's got their own things, and I'm probably too cheap, to be honest. But then again, when people are hard up, it's a good thing, isn't it? Not too expensive. It's like everyone said to me, when you're doing your quotes, if say 80% are saying yes and 20% are saying no, then you're probably all right, aren't you? If 100% are saying yes, then you're too cheap. 100% saying no, obviously you're too expensive. And it's probably going to take 6 months for you to get comfortable with water-fed pole, I think, anyway, because you're going to learn all these things. It's going to be hard for you, mate, I think, in terms of you're aiming to do top windows only, because I found, for me, learning the bottom windows is the best place to learn, because the window's right in front of you. So you can see the effect the brush is having on the frames, the glass. You're learning different angles to get into different nooks and crannies, I suppose. Because all you've got to do on the upstairs window is manipulate that, but it's at a higher angle and you're not going to be able to see as well. So you probably find the upstairs windows will take you longer than the smaller ones, because you're just being a bit more finicky and just double making sure, because you can't completely see as well as something right in front of you. So doing the upstairs windows, I think, would be harder to learn off as opposed to down. But obviously, if doing your own house, innit, you can practice on your downstairs to your heart's content, do the upstairs. And it's probably going to be over time you become more confident. I'm starting to be a bit quicker because I have to, because I'm so busy. And with my kids, I'm trying to make up here and there, and they get caught up on things. But it's took me a long time to have the confidence to be quicker than what I am. But it's using your eyes, isn't it? If something's halving, it's going to take you longer. If it's not halving, it's going to be quicker, isn't it? It's just a feeling you will get to learn as you go along. Sorry, mate. Yeah, it's just in that exactly the same as me. Sometimes I am too cheap, but customers have to work to pay us. Yeah. I honestly, it's hard, isn't it? It's good to be busy, because I think if I'm too expensive, people are also going to have to cut back. But when they say it's only this much, they're probably reluctant to. It's only the poor buggers out there that need you because they can't clean their own windows, and they want clean windows because their age or they've got illnesses. They can't do it, so they want you to do it. And at the end of the day, isn't it? It's, if you're happy to work for a certain amount, they're happy to pay it, then everyone's a winner, aren't they? And plus they get to know you, you get to know them. They trust you as well. You're not getting messed about. You could do a nice mansion worth a lot of money, but it's no good if they ain't going to pay you for a couple of months, is it? Compared to something maybe it's a bit cheaper, but they pay you there and then. Well, that's worth more, isn't it? But yeah, I suppose a lot of us are all too cheap, to be honest. At the end of the day, if you can pay your bills, and you've been doing this 32 years, mate, so you've been doing a lot of things right, haven't you? So I wouldn't change your prices cheaper if you're using water-fed pole, that's for sure. And if you was to put them up a little bit, that's probably because you would have had to anyway, because obviously the price of living's going up. Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's just look after your customers, isn't it? And they will look after you. And at the end of the day, they sing your praises, and that's the best advertisement going, isn't it? People just recommending you to people they know. And you're probably all like me as well. You'll clean someone, but you'll clean their son, their grandson, cousins, a lot of family as well that all know each other, and they trust you, and they're loyal, aren't they? Really, that's the beauty of window cleaning. Really, is the fact that it's regular work and a monthly income. Because I was talking to my son about this, just thinking. So I mean, Telly's doing weird things again. That's better. Thinking about pressure washing, but you could clean someone's drive, but when's the next time they're going to ask me to clean it again? Next year? 2 years? So there's that worry, innit? Now it's silly season for them, I suppose. They're really, really busy trying to fit it in. But then when it's quiet, what do you do? What do you worry about next year? Whereas your window cleaning, it's kind of not guaranteed, but it's there, innit? Every month. It's just the weather that affects you and can be a bit tight. And if I was to do something like pressure washing, then my window cleaning is going to slip because I'm busy just doing that. So I'll probably stick with me window cleaning, to be honest. Yeah, like you're saying, mate, word of mouth, it's the best advertisement out there as well, isn't it? And it's costing you nothing just because you do a good job and people think you're nice and polite. You turn up and you just kind of happen. It's like someone said to me, you just want to be like the postman, almost invisible. No one takes any notice. You just turn up, put the letter through the box and go. Obviously, a lot of people chat and stuff, but you know what I mean? That's what you want to be like. And it's interesting how other people work, isn't it? And you think it's easy, but it's not. But if you make it work, it's brilliant. I enjoy window cleaning, that's for sure. But there's been quite a few times where I've thought, I'm going to have to give up because I'm not earning enough. And then you have a couple of good months and everything's all right again, innit? But then you have them bad months as well. But yeah, it's all good. Wrong one. Can't read me buttons, and that's me wearing glasses. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope it's been of some help. Nice to see a fellow Ipswich town man. And I hope some of the stuff everyone's talked about or has helped you as well. Food for thought. It's just something to look into. Don't rush, isn't it? I can understand why you're doing it. That's for sure. But it will be good. It will be good, mate, honestly. Sorry, someone's just come in. Hi, mate. Mill's cleaning. Sorry, I'm just about to finish. Yeah, it's just what I was thinking. But no dramas, mate. You can watch it in the catch-up and that. I'll just rabbit too much. It's all right, mate. No problem. And just get in touch with anyone on here as well. It's all about building a community, isn't it? And just use your local window cleaners. Find out how they do stuff. Give them a hand. See what you think before you start investing and spending a lot of money. But what you got going on, it sounds like you're going to have to. But just do it slowly, isn't it? Just use what you've got and it gets you through most things. I've just seen your message. No worries, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I try and go every week. There's some weeks I haven't. I've got a lot going on at the moment in regards to someone's in hospital, that sort of thing. But it'll be all right. I'll try and be here and improve these lives anyway with interviews with you guys. That's the main plan. And it's Your Cleaner Windows, his idea, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And we'll do that. But anyway, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm trying to find the right button. It's a good job I don't work in TV, innit? Here we go. I found it. Yay. Anyway, thanks very much. All have a safe week. Hopefully the weather's going to be good for a long time so we can get out there, get working and start building that bank balance up. And then someone like Rabbit Man can invest into a bit of pure water window cleaning. But just do small stuff, mate, and work your way up. Don't go for the big stuff straight away. And just see how you get on. For all you know, you might not like it. And you might go completely pure water cleaning. But it's hard to go from one thing to another, isn't it? And it's building up all that confidence again, but it'll come to you. Anyway, let me know how you all get on.